Just a few weeks ago, he spoke exclusively to Leslie Saul on 60 Minutes about his upcoming project, a remake of his 1984 directorial debut, This Is Spinal Tap. Shortly after the bodies of Rob Reiner and his wife were discovered in their home, their son, Nick Reiner, was arrested, sending shockwaves through Hollywood. Nick's testimony revealed a chilling detail. He had harbored a deep hatred for his father for many years. But in reality, the warning signs of this tragedy had been present for a long time. Alana Zabel, a yoga teacher who taught Nick when he was only 8 years old, later admitted that the experience was hauntingly scary. Screaming fits that lasted 20 minutes, the complicit silence of adults, and the repeated phrase, "he'll be fine," used like a sedative to soothe insecurity. The situation was so horrific that she eventually poured her terror into a children's book as a way to process the trauma. What exactly did Alana Zabel say? To her, this wasn't a shock. It was the moment a nightmare finally stepped off the page and became a reality. In 2000, Alana Zabel was well known in the world of therapeutic yoga. She specialized in helping families find emotional balance, focusing on stress reduction, energy management, and focus. One day, Alana received a call from an assistant. The caller stated that the family was very concerned about their son's spiritual development, describing the boy as unusually sensitive and in need of an expert experienced with children who struggle to fit in. Initially, Rob Reiner's identity was not disclosed. It wasn't until the appointment was confirmed that Alana realized her client was one of Hollywood's most powerful families. The first meeting was modest. Michelle greeted her with a polite and gentle demeanor, introducing Nick as a very intelligent child with strong energy, who could sometimes be defiant. Rob Reiner appeared later, shaking Alana's hand and thanking her for coming. She felt excited about the collaboration, thinking they were some of the loveliest clients she had ever met. However, the first lesson was unlike any she had ever conducted. The room was unnervingly quiet. Nick didn't look at anyone. His gaze swept past Alana as if she were invisible. He sat on the mat but did not carry the presence of an 8-year-old. When Alana began basic movements, Nick didn't budge. He simply stared at her with a mocking, cynical grin. Alana kept smiling, keeping her voice soft, assuming it was just childhood stubbornness. Then, something terrible happened. Nick suddenly stood up and kicked the nearest chair. The crash echoed through the room. Stunned, Alana blurted out, "What's wrong?" But before she could react, Nick looked directly at her with a hollow gaze. "I don't like her." Alana vividly remembers the fear, an intuition telling her she was facing something completely disproportionate to his age. The boy wasn't seeking attention or comfort. What he displayed was pure control and defiance. The session ended in a forced atmosphere. Nick left without looking back. Alana stood looking at the overturned chair, her heart racing. Despite having taught hundreds of children, she realized one thing clearly: this child truly has a problem. Subsequent sessions quickly shattered Alana's initial expectations. From the first minute, Nick dominated the space. Yoga mats were kicked aside, pillows thrown into corners. Every time Alana gently asked him to sit down and breathe, Nick would look up with cold eyes and suddenly scream in her face. The screaming was horrific, from 5 minutes to 10, and eventually nearly 20 minutes per session. Everyone watched with terror. While Alana tried to remain calm, Nick only screamed louder. He knew exactly when the adults were losing patience, when to turn up the volume, and that sooner or later, someone would give in. Afterwards, something strange would happen. Nick would calmly sit down. He would breathe steadily as if he had just finished a ritual and declare, "Okay, now we can practice." At that moment, the door opened. Nick's father, Rob, walked in. Nick whipped around. He stared directly at his father, his eyes darkening, his teeth clenched. For a brief, suffocating moment, the room was silent, as if everyone sensed what was coming. Nick screamed, "I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!" The screams thundered, hitting the man standing in the doorway square in the chest. Nick's father stood still, as if he had been slapped in the face in front of a witness. 1 second, 2 seconds. Then he lowered his voice, trying to stay calm. "Nick, calm down." That phrase was like pouring gasoline on a fire. Nick screamed louder, his voice breaking but not weakening. He stomped his feet, fists clenched, his entire body tense as if demanding everything bend to his will. Nick lunged at the items on the table, sweeping everything to the floor. The sound of shattering ceramic and clashing metal mixed with his heavy, gasping breath. Nick hissed through gritted teeth, thick with hatred. "Don't use that voice with me! Don't stand there pretending you care!" That moment sent a chill down Alana's spine. After several hauntingly horrific sessions, Alana knew she couldn't stay silent. She requested a private talk with Rob and Michelle. Alana remembers the heavy feeling of sitting across from them. She weighed every word, trying not to sound accusatory. She described the long screaming fits, the controlling gaze, and the sudden shift from chaos to eerie calm. She stated frankly that what scared her most wasn't the noise, but the calculation behind the behavior. "This is not a child losing control," Alana emphasized. "This is a child learning how to control others." Nick's parents listened with a composed attitude. They explained that he was inherently sensitive and that his intelligence made him easily overstimulated by the world. To them, the screaming was simply a way to release excess energy, and the most significant phrase was always repeated: "He doesn't mean it." Determined not to give up, Alana tried one more step. She spoke about boundaries, that Nick needed to be stopped and made to understand that his behavior was unacceptable. But all she received were polite rebuttals. "We're sorry, but he doesn't mean it." Leaving the house that day, Alana carried a heavy weight in her heart. Not because she felt ignored, but because she realized she had witnessed something more dangerous than the screaming, the silent consensus of adults. From that moment, Alana understood she wasn't just teaching yoga to a child. She was standing before a family where love had unintentionally abolished all boundaries. That sense of horror at the enabling became a ghost that haunted her for months. Years later, when she wrote the first lines of her book, A Chair in the Air, Alana knew she wasn't inventing anything. She was telling the truth. For her, the book was the only way to say what she, as the adult in the room, hadn't been heard saying, or worse, had been told to downplay. Back then, every time she tried to describe the abnormality of Nick's behavior, the response was always the same. "He's just a bit sensitive. He's too smart. That's why he's hard to manage. Just wait, he'll grow out of it." Those phrases, over the years, became a source of eternal regret for Alana. Not because they were wrong, but because they paralyzed the warning reflexes of the adults. When deviant behavior is labeled harmless, people stop looking deeper. And when no one looks deeper, the danger isn't just in the child, it's in the silence surrounding them. In A Chair in the Air, Alana chose the image of a floating chair, not touching the ground, not in its proper place. To her, it was a symbol of a child without boundaries, not anchored to reality, and never taught how to stand firm. It was a child for whom every rule had to bend, until no rules remained. She wrote with a chill, realizing every detail in the book had been real, just ignored. The screaming, the controlling eyes, the silence of those around him. It was all dismissed as a phase, a personality trait, or worse, the privilege of a special child. Alana didn't write to accuse a child. She wrote to question the adults. She wanted to ask, what did we ignore because it was too hard to face? And more importantly, How many signs